Hey there, everybody. Matt Carter here.
And Jessica Carter from CARTERMATT.com.
This video is our reaction to Criminal Minds Season 15, Episode 6, entitled Date Night. Doesn't that sound like a fun episode to you, where there's happiness and smiles and not Spencer Reid being carted to a roller rink kind of against his will?
This episode was so good. I said a little while ago that, Saturday was one of my most favorite episodes ever, and it is.
Yeah.
And then this episode came up, and this is now one of my most favorite episodes ever. There was so much going on this episode that I loved. I can't believe Kat is back, and I am so glad for it.
Well, the thing is that there's 2 episodes of Criminal Minds airing tonight, but we decided to do separate videos because I don't want the greatness of this episode to get lost in the midst of a discussion of anything else. This is... Yeah, I'm going to have a hard time debating which one I like more, this one or Saturday, but I think this is a really, really good episode. And we'll break it down within, and if you do enjoy this discussion, give us a like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any other updates. I was excited to see Kat back. I mean, we saw enough hints in the sneak peeks that she was going to be a part of this one way or another.
And how can she not be? It's the final season, and Kat Adams has been... She's such a great character, and there is a real interesting, strange chemistry between her and Reid. And I know that there are people out there that ship them, and I completely understand it. She's crazy, and she's not right for him by any means, and she's done horrible things to him. But there is an undeniable connection between these two, and anytime these two actors are on screen together, the dynamic between them is just amazing.
It's electric in a way, and I think a lot of it is that there's this part of Reid, and I think Goobler's really aware of this, that he's fascinated in the unknown. He always wants to understand things, and he's very logical in that way. I think he can understand why normal people are normal. I think he can't understand why Kat is the way that she is, and I think she's sort of a puzzle to him. I think he's very intrigued to figure her out. It's sort of like Sherlock and Moriarty in a way, where, this is the one mystery Sherlock can't solve. And by the way, I kind of want Goobler to play Sherlock Holmes now, but I love the relationship that they have and the back and forth.
And there's something that's very similar about the two of them. And I'm not saying Reid is like some crazy killer or psychotic or anything by any means, but there is something very similar about them in a lot of ways. And I think that that's part of the pull. And one of the things that I really liked about how this ended was with Reid kind of admitting to Max that there is something about that kiss that they shared, him and Kat, and that there is something between them in a way. And it's not necessarily that they're meant to be or anything like that, but there is something there.
I think the best thing about that moment was just the incredible amount of honesty that was on Reid's part, because just picture this. Can you imagine someone coming to you and you're fairly early on in a relationship and they're like, oh yeah, I have this attraction thing with this just serial killer and horrific person. And I think Spencer framed it well. He's not out to be with Kat or anything like that, but there's a fascination there and he admits to it.
Yeah, and that was something that I was really glad that the writers actually touched on, because we have seen their relationship go really sideways, and we've also seen moments in their relationship where there is some heavy chemistry between them. And so to get to this sort of last dance with Kat Adams where they're on a date and she's all dressed up and he's all dressed up and you can feel all that chemistry, they do share that kiss. It was nice to see him actually have that bit of honesty, just a genuine, yes, there is something there, but it is not what I'm after, and it's not anything that I'm going after, and I'm happy with what's developing here with you.
I think it was a nice way, because, we're in the final season. I doubt we see Kat Adams again. I think this is a nice way to sort of say goodbye to that part of Reid's life and hopefully usher in something a little bit happier and healthier for him. And kudos to Max, by the way, because I think after everything that she goes through in this episode, it would be very easy to just like run as fast away from this situation as possible.
Yeah, I'll say that I was a little bit surprised that after only a few dates that she was that willing to jump in and sort of be bait. And obviously she wanted to get her dad and her sister back, so I understand why she was like, okay, I'm gonna go through this, I'm gonna be bait to get her back, and my dad is back and all that sort of thing. But it was surprising how easily she slipped into being able to be in that role and to improvise. And as Luke said, the situation was really flammable, and it was neat to see that, because it means that, to me, Max is somebody who's going to be able to keep step with Reid in what he's doing, and now she's going to have an understanding of what Reid does. Not, it's not every day it's crazy, of course that's what we see, but it's not always like that, like he explained to her. But when it is, she's going to have a firsthand understanding of it. And so going into the future beyond Criminal Minds, when there is no more Criminal Minds. If they make it to the end together of this season, this final season, I like to think that this means that there'll be some really good foundation there for them to move forward. I think whoever ends up with Spencer needs to have a really good understanding of not only him, but what he does. And there is no better crash course than what happened tonight with Kat Adams. Of all the people, it makes the most sense.
I think there's something still kind of mysterious about Max. I'm not saying that she is like a secret unsub or anything like that, but I think there's something...
Oh man, I hope not.
No, I don't think so. There is still something, though, that kind of speaks to what you're saying, that it's surprising on some level that she gets so into this, and yes, her family is involved, but I think a lot of people who are in her situation would not act the way that she does, and that's good, I think, for Reid, and it's good for us to be in that position of Reid where we're kind of curious about her, like we don't really think we got her fully figured out. I think Reid on some level likes that. I mean, that's what made Kat Adams appealing and interesting to him, and I think maybe there's not a lot of Kat Adams in Max, and I certainly would hope not, because Kat Adams is terrible, but I think there is at least a little bit of a mysterious element to her where we don't actually know that much about her other than kind of her family, a little bit about her job, but, like, we don't know what her hobbies are. We don't know what she's doing at the end of a long workday.
Well, in some ways, I'm kind of feeling like Max is the good version of what Kat is. So, because at the end, when she was kind of like, oh, so you kind of like the bad girls, and he was just like, well, honestly, yes, there is this attraction to this, but now I'm moving away from that and I'm into the good girls sort of thing. But I think there's still a little bit of Kat that's in Max, but not in the evil way, more in the charismatic way, because Kat Adams has charisma for days.
Yeah.
And I think that Max also has charisma for days. And I think that's maybe why this relationship is kind of working for Reid in a way that's just, of course, way more positive.
The thing that I guess I can praise this episode for the most is I kind of saw the twist at the end coming about 5 minutes within everything starting to go really, really south. I was just, okay, so I think the BAU is involved in something, and Max is probably involved in something, but I was still just, like, so invested in the characters that even when it happened, I was still, like, happy surprised, and I didn't really care that I saw it coming. Like, that's
I did not
good.
see it coming at all.
Okay.
I was completely not... I didn't think that Max had killed somebody. Like, when she started getting into that story, I was like, okay, well, this isn't true. I don't believe this, and I don't know why Kat's believing this either. But I didn't think that the BAU had gotten completely involved in everything that was going on. And in some ways, I don't know that they needed to. It was cool that they did, and I liked how it all kind of unfolded. But I feel that if Max was able to figure it out on her own as well and be able to keep up step with him. Because when they got into the apartment and Spencer was like, just follow my lead kind of thing, if she was able to just keep up step, I would have really liked that as well. That she didn't have to be guided necessarily by the team. She was being guided by the man that she's following.
I think both of those are good explanations. Like, I think she needed to be guided in some sense by someone, but yeah, if it wasn't the BAU, it could have been Reid. And I think the most important thing is just they found a way to pull this off so that even if you kind of knew the twist was coming, you could still enjoy it because there was emotion invested there. Like, that's always going to be more important in a lot of shows that just, like, throw out a crazy twist to be like, look how crazy we are.
Yeah.
And so I think they invested really well. I think the fact that they have an interesting character in Max made this work. And also, Aubrey Plaza is just so good.
Oh my goodness, she is so good. She is just such a dynamic actress, and I loved her on Legion. I have loved her on this. She is so wonderful, and the chemistry between her and Matthew are just, it is off the charts. Like, so good.
Yeah.
So it was really nice to have her back. It is the final season. It just wouldn't have felt right if she wasn't there. So I'm really glad that they were able to get her back for this.
I'm really glad about that. I'm really glad in general that we had a lot of good Matthew material this season, because it felt like in season 14 we really didn't have very much for Reid to do most of the time. So we've made up for that fully now. But we have a few episodes still to go. I mean, we have episode 7, which is going to be about Prentice, and we'll have a discussion up about that pretty much at the time that you're watching this.
It's also good that we actually learned what Kat's fate is going to be. We know that she's not going to make it.
No, and I like how they handled it. I mean, I don't need to see this character die.
No, I don't either, but it's good for me as a viewer to know what's actually going to happen to her. That we're not going to see her get out again. We're not going to see another problem with her down the road. She's not necessarily, she's not going to be staying just in jail for the rest of her life, where we have seen her pulling strings from jail. That we know what actually her fate is going to be.
It's closure.
It's closure.
Closure is good for final season. Hopefully we'll have some more of it over the coming episodes. Yeah, I'm still bummed this is near the end, but we have more to talk about. So stick around, check out our reaction to episode 7, but let us know what you thought about episode 6. Kat Adams, Reid, Max, so much more in the comments. And if you do like this video, give us a like, subscribe, and you can support us further by checking that link in the description through the CARTERMATT store, and we'll see you here next time.